because we are getting ready to get even more information here on the Now Morning Show. So good morning. Now, I have been wondering quite a bit. And my scripts are moving. Because we ought to be talking about business. So, Mr. Martin, well, let me make sure I get a proper pronunciation of your last name.
Vote.
Vote. Now, we are talking business bites because MPC has German-based holdings engaged in wealth and asset management. So the company is developing market yield-oriented tax optimization investments for private and institutional investors. Just to give a little backstory to our viewers, that is. The company operates in ship investments, real estate, quite a bit. And so you guys are here this morning to tell us a bit of an update as to where we're going from here. Welcome and good morning.
Thanks for having me. So as you mentioned, MPC Capital is a German-based stock-listed company that invests around the globe. We are managing about $5 billion US. And a few years ago, we decided to create a listed company here in the region for renewable energy. That company was listed in Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago earlier this year. And now we are back in the market to collect more capital to deploy more renewable energy projects throughout the Caribbean region.
Beautiful. Now, renewable energy is something that we've been focusing on for years and years. But we also talk about diversification. We are looking at quite a few things. So how exactly does the company do exactly that, invest in renewable energy? With so many options from insurance to umbrella funds, how exactly is that going to take place?
Yeah. So we invest directly into the assets, so meaning we invest directly into solar parks, in wind farms, in energy efficiency projects, and we let our shareholders participate in these investments through the listed company here at the stock exchanges.
So this could mean that we will see significant change in our energy sector. We usually are oil and gas primarily, so when we talk about wind and solar power, those are things that may be new to the Trinidad front, yes?
Yes, so your government has certainly prioritized energy efficiency projects here in the country. The rest of the Caribbean is currently more focusing on replacing energy generation. But because of your very specific situation here in Trinidad and Tobago with regards to gas resources, right, I think your situation is a bit different, and the government makes the right choice to first focus on the optimization of energy use to decarbonize your generation, and then the next step is to implement wind and solar and these kind of technologies.
So I was racing ahead, I guess. You were saying we have to do a little bit more before we get to wind and solar. And so for the average man on the street, the person who isn't necessarily aware of how that phase is going to roll out, what does that sound like or look like? How does that affect the man on the street?
I mean, on the other Caribbean islands, it means primarily a reduction in cost of energy. Renewable energy is at a point where the cost is competitive with oil and gas produced energy. I think the main point for Trinidad and Tobago is really a diversification. At the moment, you are relying purely on natural gas supplied power plants. So you can diversify and use the gas that is being here produced for other industries. So actually it means you can create a higher valuable product with the gas rather than burning it into a gas power plant to produce electricity.
Now, in the case of getting into, well, next steps and feedback, because this is, as we said, multiple faceted steps. Yes. We are at stage one, we are beginning the process, and thereafter there will need to be some sort of discourse and some sort of feedback process. What should that sound like? How would
exactly, and I think the government here has established already the right committees in the Ministry of Energy to interact with the private sector and interact also with the communities, which is a very important part because the people here, they don't know what it means to have a solar park basically in your backyard or a wind farm. So you need to let them participate in the process. Otherwise, you will create the effect that the general public is not supporting renewable energy. So it is something that needs to take place very carefully, the interaction with the local communities.
Local communities, of course, public stakeholders at large. What about the integration of this conversation into schools? And this is just from the top of my head in the sense of we've had the conversation, we know it exists, but in the case of changing the culture and making it more adaptable for persons or more adoptable for persons of the local culture, Is that something that the company will be taking a hand in as well, or is that all more the responsibility of the government?
No, we believe that the private sector needs to play a role also in that part of the education. So in Jamaica, for instance, we worked with the Clinton Foundation. We went into schools, into universities, because it is easier to change the mind of the young people. And they need to be educated about the benefits of renewable energy.
Right.
So when it comes to later political supportment, because they are the voters of the next generation,
Right.
we need to make sure that they have the right information and that they're educated about the benefits.
Beautiful. And so you have a lot of references from other Caribbean islands. You did note, though, the difference with our energy concerns makes it a little different.
Yes.
This entire project will be seeing you here, the company that is, over the spans of years, I would imagine. And in that case, we will probably be hearing from you again as you continue to tell us as things roll out. Now, the investments, the changes, the job markets, there's so much to cover in this because we will certainly see, well, phase after phase, more changes coming. But for the most part, if we wanted to get more information, or even just as a regular person, be kept abreast of the changes, how can we do so?
I mean, first of all, everyone can participate in this. We are currently out in the market with a rights issuance for the stock-listed company.
Okay.
So everyone who wants to learn more about that can go on the websites of the stock exchanges or on the website of the company, mpccleanenergy.com. There you will find all the information about our other projects, how the company is organized, and what we're intending to do next year in the Caribbean.
Sounds fantastic. I know you only had a short track, but you are here for a while, so I hope that you do enjoy Trinidad
Absolutely.
in all its facets. And we do appreciate that you certainly came through to keep us up to date on this one. We will be looking at the other Caribbean regions in a new way now, since we will be getting in on the energy game too. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. And you guys, we will be back right after this. We take a quick break and we come back with more.